I bought £100 worth of Leeds United merchandise so that I'm never in a situation again where I see a whole group of Leeds United fans at the Piccadilly pub and I'm not decked out in Leeds United merchandise.
Sounds sensible. Howdy, it's Wednesday, June 26, 2019, and this is episode 102 of Due for a Win, the Atlantic City and Casino Biz podcast. I'm Kyle Eskin, joined, as always, by Craig Stone. What's good, Craig?
We have a lot of news. I don't know if it's good or not, if that's the question.
It's a lot. It's a copious amount.
It is so much news.
That's what happens when you have gone like a month and a half without doing a news episode.
The people demand a chock full of news episode.
Yes. If I know anything about our listenership, the only thing they desire more than news episodes are really deep dives into monthly casino reports.
Luckily for them,
we have both today.
We have both.
Yes.
So for the 6 of you who are still listening and have not just, shut this off and are waiting for episode 103, what happened in 2002?
So everyone's favorite, the Bayview Tower at Harrah's opened, which actually, have you ever stayed in?
No, that's the most recently renovated one now, right?
That is correct. And Bally's announced it was merging the Claridge into Bally's operations, so there's going to be no more Claridge Casino, and it can, set the stage for one of the more magical nights, I think, of our life, staying in the Claridge Tower.
Oh my goodness, that room. Apparently perfectly nice now as a Radisson hotel. Yeah. But
well,
oh boy.
I can say it was not perfectly nice when me and you were there.
No, it was bad. And that was, for some reason, that was a night where for some reason I also was feeling kind of burnt out at 9:30 p.m. And so I went up and just watched some random NCAA basketball game for a half an hour. And I'm like, why am I sitting in this godforsaken room? This is horrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
And then I went back down. No, yeah,
it was really bad.
It was really bad. Just everything was falling apart. It was tiny. The bathroom was 6 square feet.
Incredibly loud.
Yes, incredibly loud, specifically our neighbors.
Couple doing things that couples can do sometimes, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm told.
Yes, I wouldn't know, but yeah. I've heard rumors, and I certainly heard through the wall that night. So,
1902, the Great Fire of 1902, and I'll link to an article by Dr. David G. Schwartz from
Friend of the podcast.
Yeah, from Casino Connection AC. On April 3rd, 1902, a dog in a bathhouse supposedly knocked over a lamp, started a fire that engulfed 30 buildings and burned the boardwalk down to its iron pilings near Ocean Pier, which is out from Tennessee Avenue. So the damage exceeded $750,000, which, today doesn't sound like that much, but that's 117 years ago. I looked up a consumer spending index calculator that says that that's $22 million in today's money. And somehow, rebuilding the boardwalk only took 10 hours, which is just shocking and bizarre. All the damaged buildings were either repaired, rebuilt, or replaced in short order, this according to Dr. Dave. So I'll link to that article. It's pretty interesting stuff. I don't understand how they rebuild that boardwalk in 10 hours, but hey, peak season coming. It's April. People need their gaiety, or whatever that episode was where we read about.
The best episode. Episode 99, one of the episodes that will go down in Due for a Win history.
Yes. If only we had more issues like that to read. But a Dr. Dave article is pretty good.
Yeah. So before we get started, do you have any more news about Las Vegas, which I believe is officially 1 month away?
No changes, I don't think.
I've been removed from the email thread, so I don't know what's going on.
We should have left you on it for spite. No, but you would have just muted it anyway.
Yeah.
I think I'm just scrapping the drink tracking, because the other night I had 2 not even that large pours of whiskey, and I was I'm pretty drunk. So that cannot happen in Vegas on 2 drinks, or it will be a disaster for 4 nights. So I think I got to just go full bore.
You don't want to end up like me during my last trip of Vegas, where I had a day where I was basically just death warming over.
Who was it on that trip who basically was really hungover every day and then just went at it again every night?
Sounds like something Zach would do.
I think that was Zach. I think you're right.
That's Yeah,
just
quintessential Zach.
like falling over drunk every night and just ready to go for it again.
Oh man,
by 5 p.m. the next night.
That's what as a trooper should. I mean,
I'm not a trooper then, I guess. I do not have that in me at all. I'm certainly not at 35 years old.
Yeah, I think you could do it. I think you're short selling yourself a little bit.
Vegas, it inspires people. That's for sure.
It does. You get a second wind.
That's true.
Which sometimes is the problem.
Yeah.
It leads to the hangovers.
Leads to the hangovers that last like 10 days after you get
right.
back. That's what I'm hoping to avoid. So some pretty large news happened this week.
Yeah, we got some news about Miss America.
That wasn't this week. That was like a month ago, and we still haven't talked about it.
Then let's see if we can continue that. So go ahead, Greg. Sorry for interrupting.
So Eldorado and Caesars are entering into a merger / purchase, takeover. I've seen it listed a bunch of different ways, but basically Eldorado is going to take control of 51% of Caesars. Their management will run the show. It will still be called Caesars Entertainment, and that's pretty much it. They're keeping all the properties as far as we know. The Wall Street Journal article that first broke this said that they were selling off Harrah's New Orleans, Harrah's Laughlin, Nevada, and Harrah's Atlantic City as a parallel deal. And it was sort of like, whoa, they're getting rid of Harrah's. And then when you look into who they're selling it to, it's just the real estate investment trust that was spun off of Caesars, I think, in 2017. And their entire business model is leasing physical property back to Caesars to operate casinos. So that company actually already owns the physical properties of Bally's and Caesars Atlantic City. So I expect none of us will notice any difference at all in Harrah's Atlantic City.
Sale and lease back. Learned all about that.
Yeah. So Carl Icahn, our friend Carl Icahn, friend of the podcast, truly, someone who we know well.
Patron of the podcast.
Came in, was an activist investor, made just gobs and gobs of money on this. I think the company was valued at like 17 point something billion dollars. So Eldorado's money and stock is like 8 point something billion dollar, $8.6 billion was the exact number from them. So I'll link to a couple different articles about that. The parallel agreement, basically that selling those properties, those Harrah's properties, is a way to get cash right now, and then they just owe in leases later. So it gives them, I think it's a $3 billion to pay down some debt. So it's just financial maneuvering. No need to get worked up about any Harrah's maneuver. The other thing is Caesar sent out an email to everyone who has a Caesar's Rewards card, which you probably got one. I certainly got one. Saying, hey, it's still going to be Caesar's Rewards. All these properties are going to be under Caesar's Rewards. Everything's going to be business as usual. But what we also, I think, know is that Tropicana will eventually go under Caesar's Rewards. I don't know if that was expressly stated, but that certainly seems to be the plan.
Yeah.
Get excited. Get excited.
I mean, I think the thing with this is if you'd asked me 10 years ago or whatever, like, what are the odds that Caesars gets sold to a company named Eldorado? I'd just be like, what? Like, who are these people? And like, they own some Midwestern casinos, some casinos in the Bahamas. Just be like, what? It's been an unbelievable fall from grace for Caesars, and sort of, I don't know. I mean, I guess it will live on as Caesars Entertainment, but it's hard to imagine this is what it would come to when they decided to go private in whenever, 2006, 2007.
Yeah, I mean, so you say that, except that Caesars was purchased by Harrah's Entertainment not all that long ago. What?
Just before that, but I don't know. That was before my time, though, Craig. So
Caesars, it was Harrah's Entertainment for a while, right? And then they changed the name.
No, even when we started going, it was Harrah's, right? They changed the name back to Caesars in 2011 or 12 or something. Yeah.
That interestingly, this is now the second time that they've basically had another company come in and take them over. So, we're now in the third, at least, iteration of Caesars management, like different company managing Caesars under the Caesars name, which is kind of funny. But that is apparently not all that common. That happened to Six Flags not that long ago. Probably 20 years ago. Not that long. So what do you think this means for us as Atlantic City and casino visitors?
I mean, I think everyone's kind of on the same page, at least in the Facebook group, that it's probably not great that Caesars is more or less gaining one more casino in Atlantic City. Last time they had 4 profitable casinos in Atlantic City, they changed it so they had 3 slightly more profitable casinos in Atlantic City.
Yes.
So that's kind of my first thought. But then again, that's something I've been predicting for 102 episodes, and it hasn't happened yet. So I guess we'll see. I mean, it'll be fine in the short term, or maybe even good. I mean, I think it'll be nice that Trop is going to be under Caesar's Rewards, although it takes away, certainly the maneuver I did this last weekend when we went.
Oh yeah,
I won't be able to do again. Can't
no
book
double
both
booking.
Caesars and Tropicana, my 2 most solid comps that I can expect every time, no matter what. So that's a bit of a bummer, but I think it's going to be okay in the short term. I'm worried about Bally's, as I always have been.
Yeah, I think there are 2 things really worth mentioning that are still total speculation on our part. But there's been a lot of speculation about, will they close Bally's? There was a New York Post article this morning with a bunch of unnamed sources talking about like how this could spell doom for Bally's. I'm not sure that it necessarily even expedites Bally's doom. I know we've been pretty bearish about Bally's, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would say it's not a good thing for Bally's, but I don't think it's necessarily as big a negative as that article painted it to be. The other thing is Eldorado, when they bought Tropicana, flat out said, like, this player generosity shit is for the birds, and we're going to stop giving away so many comps. And that doesn't necessarily seem to have come to fruition there.
No,
but
not at all.
Their reputation is not particularly player-friendly. So I'm a little concerned that you go from Caesars, which really, at least for room comps, was very generous, like nationwide, it seems, certainly Vegas and Atlantic City, to a company that maybe is going to very quickly look at that as a way to gain some revenue and to, have a profit growth center in terms of room rates and stuff like that. So I'm a little concerned about that. I sort of don't care personally because I don't have much interest in staying at the Caesars properties currently. I'm very hooked on Hard Rock, Borgata, Ocean, resorts. I never go to resorts, but I'd pick resorts right now over any of the Caesars properties.
That's foolish, Craig. That's a bad take.
Why?
I think, and can I put it on the record? I think we need to do a Harris trip at some point. I haven't even stepped foot in that property in like multiple years, I feel like. Since
the first episode of the podcast. No, we did that.
Since the famous eye in the sky incident.
Yeah, where they came and told me I owed a bet from 20 minutes ago at a Pie Guy Tiles table. But I don't know. I mean, I guess we probably should actually step foot in Harris again at some point.
Plus, I should also get a room one time ever at Golden Nugget.
That's true, too.
Yeah, should happen.
Just for, like, checking the boxes. It's hard because, we went 6 months between our last 2 trips. And the last trip was a day trip, right? The one before the most recent trip. So
yep.
If we're staying one night in Atlantic City every 6 months, which that is obviously not the norm. Like, I went 5 times the year before that. You went, I think, 4 times the year before that. So if we're going to have these long intervals, it's really hard to be like, oh, let's use this to, like, check a box and go stay at Harris and Golden Nugget. Because there's so many other things that I want to do with my time that I really like. But yeah, I mean, if we get back into our normal rhythm of like every 2-3 months going, then yes, we should definitely be making sure to do those things.
You're lame. I think it's a good idea. Next trip, Harris trip.
Harris trip. Oh, it sounds awful. You can go to Harris. I'll hang out at Borg. I know people love Harris. There are people who really love Harris. They like it. There's things about it I don't hate.
We've talked about it, though, that just Mike C's description of Harris just was like...
Yeah, the Vegas Confessions
yes.
Bucket or fuck it question of...
It's just amazing.
The shit show after Pool After Dark not even gets out, but as people are drunkenly leaving. It's pretty amazing. It is really
so
amazing.
good. So good.
I mean, yeah, there are things about
It's a great
Harris
place. It's easy to walk to both Borg and Nugget from there. I don't know, like, who really wants to go to Nugget just to chill, but some people do, I guess.
Anything else about this merger that we have to talk about? Merger, acquisition, sale?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's good that there's finally clarity in the horrible Caesars financial situation. So that's something. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to necessarily be good for Bally's.
Yeah, so what does this mean for Tony Rodeo, right? Like, he was just appointed CEO of Caesars, but if Eldorado is controlling the company, are they going to keep him?
He might stay in some role or something, maybe, or,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's normal stuff that you have to go through when one company buys another.
Yeah, that's true. So one thing they did say, Eldorado says they plan to decentralize a lot of the management, which is kind of the opposite of what Caesars has done. They've been very centralized and very Las Vegas focused, which is a little weird, right? Because typically that means that you are spending more on management. But I expect that is probably a good thing for Atlantic City, having more decentralized management. But all of these things.
One of my biggest bummers is when I was in business school, I never went out to the big Caesars. Well, it was Harris then. They have like an NBA poker tournament that's actually like a recruiting event for them in Las Vegas, and it always seemed like a cool thing to do. But
yeah, maybe they'll still run it. Maybe Eldorado will run it out of the Tropicana.
Yes, the Tropicana Atlantic City.
The Tropicana Atlantic City's poker room.
The most desirable job market for all prospective employees.
Maybe since Trop is super generous to you, now, since Eldorado is running the show, that will override your Caesars Rewards account, and you'll just get like crazy comps everywhere in Vegas. And
I already do get crazy comps everywhere in Vegas, in Atlantic City with CET. So
and horseshoe free play and stuff, or not even free play, whatever you get rewards credits. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like $60 in rewards credits for walking in the door. They actually have not done that in a while since I got a lot of reward credits because they gave me that deal.
Awesome. First, they've randomly started emailing me. Not that anybody cares. Okay, let's move on to other stuff, such as Booze on the Boardwalk that we've talked about many, many times.
Yeah, and to the surprise of just everyone, it looks like it's not happening yet again this year because New Jersey.
Ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous. So it was unanimously approved by the state Senate. I'll link to the David Danzis article in the Press of Atlantic City about this. But the next step is that it gets referred to the State Assembly Oversight, Reform, and Federal Relations Committee, and they don't have another scheduled meeting until the state legislature goes on recess, and that usually lasts through the rest of July and most of August. So pretty much a dead thing for this summer. And there's a ton of support for it locally. The city council supports it. The Atlantic City alcohol board supports it. So it's just the speed or lack of thereof of the state legislature keeping this from happening. So I know that it's actually, the response is very mixed. We have been on the record of being very pro drinking on the boardwalk in a legal form. But every time it comes up in our group or in the Everything AC group, there's actually a pretty decent split of people who are like, oh, just get on with it. Let's get this done already. It's going to be awesome. And people who are saying, oh, I don't want drunk people throwing up all over the boardwalk. So whichever side of the fence you're on, you can now act accordingly, knowing that this has been probably punted for at least another summer. Hopefully only another summer. Jeez, let's get this done.
Yeah, I mean, the people are already plenty drunk on the boardwalk, in my opinion. I don't think it'll make much of a difference in terms of making people more drunk, but...
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just the mobility thing. Like, it makes it easier to pop around and say, oh, now I'm going to go over to American Craft, whatever, which is closed permanently. And then...
I thought it was open.
And grab a beer. No, they were doing work on it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so they're doing some sort of interior construction that I'm assuming is not to reopen or renovated American Craft.
Bummer.
But if anybody's there and sees it and it's still American Craft, let us know.
Yeah, we were looking at you, Justin S., our man on the boardwalk who lets us know what's going down.
So my one question about the Booze on the Boardwalk thing is trying to put a positive spin on this. Say this passes in September, and they have 10 months or whatever of lead time to really try and set up something awesome. Like set up basically Bourbon Street on the boardwalk. And, you can go and get those little plastic hand grenade drinks and all this other stuff like they have on Bourbon Street in New Orleans if you've never been. And you can just like wander around and do this ridiculous drunken bar crawl. If they could set that up, is this a good thing? And even if they had all that lead time, is there any chance that something like that is set up?
I don't agree with the kind of the premise of your question, which is that, like, I don't know, to me, if they like wanted to pass this, they would have passed it in a timely manner to make it get done for this summer. And I don't even know like what cool would be set up.
I mean, people who now know that this is an option.
Mm-hmm. We'll have time to come in
Investors.
and make a bar or whatever on the boardwalk. And
yeah, exactly.
Pretty low.
Yeah, that was the pipe dream that my mind went to when I thought about it. It was like, ooh, we're gonna get like cool stuff with like little, basically pop-up bars, and it's like that's.
I'll tell you what we're gonna get. It's gonna be May 2020, and we're gonna be like, maybe this will be the year they're gonna pass drinking on the boardwalk.
Yeah,
and then they won't.
We were both very confident that would be done by episode 200, but
it'll probably happen by episode 200. All right. But we've got a few years to go. So,
what else should we talk about? There's some ocean news.
Yeah. So, according to Megan K in the Facebook group, good job, Megan K. You posted it to the correct one. Ocean comp dollars now expire on a rolling 6-month basis. So, any comps you earn expire 6 months from that date, regardless of any future play, which is quite different from most all other comp dollars, which you can sort of, if you play again, it pushes the expiration date of all of your comps out to however far in the future. So she said that they will do a one-time reinstatement of expired comp dollars if you go to the Players Club desk and ask. But I don't know. What do you think, Greg?
This blows.
Yeah, to me, it's like the worst kind of nickel and diming that a company can do. Like, it's just aggravating and just feels very ocean to me. Yeah,
I mean, so say Atlantic City's a very not necessarily local, but, local within a couple 100 miles.
Local-ish, yes, certainly. It's not Las Vegas.
Yeah, and the people who go to Atlantic City are gamblers. They go to gamble, and they go frequently, if they're not us. Like every 2 weeks or every month. And so if you are in this situation and you're not zeroing out your comps every time you go, you're going to have comps expiring like every 2 weeks. And that sucks. Like that it makes no sense. I mean, except to just like penny pinch, and that's frustrating. Like, and the way that they did it without really any announcement or anything, and all of a sudden just comps started expiring. I don't know. And the one-time reinstatement just does not feel like any sort of consolation to me at all. Like, it doesn't seem like any sort of make good on this policy.
No, I just think that there are other loyalty programs that expire their awards like this, and it just is always something that's rubbed me the wrong way. I think that I think rewards shouldn't expire, but I think if you renew 1 point or get 1 point, it should push the date of all your points up. I don't know. Not a fan. This is a very ocean thing to do. It just feels like I said, it's the worst kind of nickel and diming to me.
Yeah. So the other thing about Ocean, also seemingly them trying to make some more money, is that the HQ2 Club pool will now be open during the day as the Boardwalk pool. It's free for guests and $10 for the general public, open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So are you excited to go to the Boardwalk pool next time you're in Atlantic City?
Yes, you know me. I love all of the day bars or whatever this is going to be.
That's your thing?
Yeah, that's my thing. What was the big one what was the one at Hard Rock that was very famous?
Rehab.
Rehab, yes, of course. So
this isn't going to be like a club type situation, though. This is just like a pool kind of thing, it seems like. Sort of like, the pool after dark. The pool at Harrah's when it's not after dark.
Even though it's at HQ2?
Yeah, so it's not branded HQ2 during the day. It's the Boardwalk pool. So it's interesting. I'm interested to see what kind of business this does. $10 seems like a fine price point for that.
So I am looking at the website now, and it says $20.
Oh, really?
Non-guests. So
they just posted on Twitter like yesterday that this was happening, and it was
where you got your info from, but the website contradicts you.
$20 is twice as much.
Yeah, it doesn't change the odds I would go, which is 0, because as we've talked about, maybe not on the show, but at least in person, I have never done the beach at Atlantic City. I've never stepped foot onto the beach in Atlantic City, so
yeah. I mean, what I'm interested to see is if this is trying to compete with things like the beach bars, or it's trying to get like day trippers to come give them some money and just sit at a pool.
I mean, the thing with all of like any non-gambling activity in Atlantic City is if this was in Washington, D.C. or Baltimore or something, I'd be like, that's ridiculous. Like, this is the stupidest waste of money I've ever heard. But because it's in Atlantic City, I'm like, well, that's pretty reasonable. That's like way cheaper than sitting at the table. So.
I thought you were going
but I say that about just everything.
I thought you were going to say, like, the thing about non-gambling attractions in Atlantic City is, you know, if it's in another city, it's like, oh yeah, that's cool, but since it's in Atlantic City, it's like, why would anybody do that?
No.
They're there to gamble. Wow, that's
everything in Atlantic City. When I look at like the price, and I know I'm like, I would think that was expensive anywhere else. I'm like, yeah, it's much better, like much lower, like dollars per hour ratio that I'm getting at the tables.
It's a good point. Interesting.
But no, I will not go.
All right. If anybody goes, let us know what it looks like and what the setup is.
So Borgata's opening their $12 million Moneyline Bard book on Saturday. The opening will have the availability to get signatures with Mike Schmidt, Jenny Finch, Doc Gooden, Brent Selleck, Lawrence Taylor, and Keith Byers. Tickets are required, so it's either $40 or $60 per player, depending on who the player is.
I'll let you guess who the $60 players are and who the $40 players are.
So certainly Schmidt is 60.
Yeah.
He's probably, it being, Philly, more or less. I would assume Lawrence Taylor's 60.
Of course.
Because he's one of the best football players of all time. Who else? Brent Selleck's Eagles, but probably not. Doc Gooden was very good for some years, but I just don't know if any of the rest of them are 60 or not. Is there another 60? If there's one more, I'd guess Doc Gooden. But
Doc Gooden, $40. I'm not even going to look up Keith Byers. Brent Selleck.
Got to be 40.
$60.
What?
People love their Eagles. Brent
They just
Selleck,
love the Eagles.
$60
Cannot get enough.
Bucks.
What about Jenny Finch? Does she have like some extra $20 just because she is hot, or at least was hot?
40.
Yeah. No. Okay.
So this is interesting to me as a former sports memorabilia collector. Mm-hmm. Who now does not really collect sports memorabilia or care about autographs, is that somebody replied to this on Twitter. I posted about it, and they said, oh, it should be free, just as a promotional thing. This sucks. And, like, I understand the sentiment, because if you're just trying to get people in the door, but knowing autograph hounds and how far they'll drive to see an appearance like this to get somebody's autograph to then probably sell it on eBay or put it in a box somewhere, it would, like, totally overrun the place. Like, there would be multi-hour lines.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What I would have preferred as a person who likes going to sports books is just if they were there hanging out and it was like, hey, this is just a meet and greet. Say hi, no autographs, please. And also, don't pay. Like that, or even pay like $10 or something at the door. Like, I would way prefer that to, like, the autograph thing. But that would be very hard to enforce because, like, people would still be like, okay, sign this.
I mean, they'd still have to pay, like, the whole
appearance
fee. Presumably this way, like, they're not paying an appearance fee. Like, they're just giving them a certain percentage of, like, these tickets you're buying,
probably,
right?
Yeah, they probably have some guarantee.
If they did it the other way, they would just have to pay a big appearance fee. So it'd basically be like they're paying these guys salaries instead of the people paying it.
Yeah, but they could have had, like, one of these guys or two of these guys. Like, how much does Brent Selleck really cost to just get into this room?
A lot, apparently. $60, man.
$60 a head. So yeah, that's all happening Saturday. You cannot use your comp dollars to get in.
Wow.
To get these autographs.
Another ripoff.
Yeah, so I'll post a link to David Dancis again from the Press of AC. He had a bunch of pictures up of the sports book before it opened and what it looks like. It looks very, very nice, but maybe a little small. It really looks sort of like restaurant bar focused and not like this big stadium seating setup, which is interesting.
Certainly,
it's the exact opposite of the New Bally's setup, which is just all stadium
like weird totally by itself and huge.
I find this much more enticing and inviting than
Bally's.
Than
the Bally's one is like somehow. I thought it was completely like off-putting for some reason, even though it looks by all accounts very nice. It's just like something about it didn't feel good.
It's just a sea of seats, and it's unclear, like, can you get food to the seats?
And
like,
also
you
there was
I don't understand.
3 people there every time I walked by when we were there.
Yeah, well, it wasn't even, like, fully open by then. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Football Sundays, this is going to be packed. If, like, I want to go watch some random hockey game on a Thursday night, not during football season, because then it'll be packed with Thursday night football fans. this seems like a pretty good place to do it. Like, certainly better than Long Bar or the other options at Borg.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I mean, the sports book is always going to be the best option to watch sports, I think. Speaking of sports books, did I tell my story about how I used Mark C's money last episode?
I don't think you did.
So I just want to make it clear, and I'm sorry if I said this last episode, but I also don't remember saying it. So, as promised, if you contribute any money to us, or to me specifically, I will make at least a 100-to-1 bet with it. So I took the $10 that we so generously got from Mark C, I don't know, 10 episodes ago or whatever, and turned that into a $10 sports ticket on Arizona State winning the national championship in football, 750-to-1. So you can put me down for a cool $7,510 coming in January.
Nice.
You can write that in ink right now.
You're already filling out the tax forms.
I am. The taxes are done. We're ready to go.
Ah, boy. I should figure out what to put that money on. Maybe I should do it in Vegas. Although that seems not in the spirit of things. It should be in Atlantic City.
I don't think you promised to do that. Just me, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you certainly can if you want.
Yeah.
But
I'll put it on something boring. I'll do a $2 denomination, one hand of video poker. Jacks are better. It's $10 spend.
Buy $10 of pizza at Secret Pizza.
I didn't love Secret Pizza. Anyways.
What? You're just terrible.
I live in New York. No, I actually don't live in New York, but I can see New York.
Yeah.
I work in New York. I eat a lot of pizza. Secret Pizza did not sit well with me at all.
Have you ever, I mean, like, it's you in Las Vegas. Like, have you ever eaten anything in Las Vegas that sat well with you?
That's a good point. I'm going to have to concede the point here. Anyways, speaking of eating.
Yep.
Hopefully not the other thing. Iron Room is moving to Tennessee Avenue July 1st, so that's coming right up in just a few days. Seems impossible that this is this soon, considering that we were just on the Orange Loop and on Tennessee Avenue. But pretty exciting because Iron Room, highly, highly rated food and cocktails. But
especially by friend of the show, Paul S.
Yes, but pretty off the beaten path. It's like way out by Surf Stadium. And Baderfield. So like moving it right off the boardwalk, I think, is a huge upgrade. I'm a little nervous about anytime something like this happens because, you know, presumably rent is much higher and the requirements for break even are much higher. But I have to think that, you know, Iron Room's reputation precedes it and it will do very, very well there. And it's a great option as far as like dining, something really close to the boardwalk, dining or drinks. So I'm excited to see what it looks like and how it does.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be fine. I don't think rent's going to be too much more. I mean, I know that during all this Tennessee Ave stuff we've talked about, you know, people are talking about how they're buying their Tennessee Ave property for $50K or $75K or whatever. So it's not like Midtown Manhattan prices to get in there.
The other thing on the Orange Loop is that Heyday Coffee is closing on June 30th. So I went to Heyday once. It was very good coffee. Hopefully they find a new place. Apparently the people who own that building want to do something else. They want their own concept in the space, they said.
Booting them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know too much to say about any of that. I'm certainly much more likely to go to Iron Room now that it's moving to Tennessee Ave because I can walk to it. Whereas when it was on Albany, I don't think it was super likely that
yeah,
I would have made it out there.
Yeah,
it's near nothing.
It was fine getting out there, but then when you needed to get like an Uber or a Lyft or a cab back, it just took forever waiting for that to get there. Mm-hmm. So, I guess people have cars and drive, but I'm not one of those people.
Yeah. So, Serial Town, favorite of the podcast, or favorite of one of the hosts of the podcast, which we unfortunately reported shut down month or two ago, is becoming a coffee shop called Lobby Brew. I don't know. Are you going to boycott it out of anger, Craig?
Yes.
All right. I think that's enough about that piece of news.
I mean, it's probably a smart decision.
Yeah. I mean, certainly we've had a lot of good times at coffee shops and casinos in Atlantic City, especially at the Atlantic Club. But
also the Starbucks at the Trump Plaza.
Especially the Starbucks at the Trump Plaza. Yep. And I think the final thing we're going to talk about today is May revenue. I don't know. It was revenue. It was very similar to February and March revenue in that it was up about 15% year over year, which is exactly what February and March were up, which is much better than the kind of 9% of January and April. So,
yeah, online sports really driving things. Were, as we said many, many times, just look at brick and mortar because that's Atlantic City specific. Online sports anywhere in New Jersey can be done.
What are your big ticket thoughts on the revenue?
I don't really have any because I think it looks pretty much on the same trajectory as it's been for the rest of the year, other than an atrocious April, or not even atrocious, but just not as good as it's been. So back in that 15% range, I think that's pretty good. But otherwise, I don't know. I don't think there's much to talk about. The big 3 months are coming up. They're more interesting than this, so we'll spare everyone the deep dive that we jokingly said we were going to do.
Unfortunately for the listeners, I am not. I think there's a couple of pretty interesting things here. I think that there's kind of the two big stories I see when I look at these numbers are the story of a possible revival from Hard Rock. I think they put up like a very solid number of just under $29 million. They were in second place by like a pretty wide margin among the casinos. So that's kind of like my big positive takeaway is that it was a very good month for Hard Rock. And my kind of negative takeaway, and this is perhaps even more generally, like, I think the most negative story so far in 2019 maybe is this story of Golden Nugget, which is really one of the big success stories in Atlantic City the last couple of years. I mean, I think Tropicana was the big success story the last few years, but Golden Nugget was certainly in second place for, coming back and improving a lot. Like, they've had, like, frankly, like an awful entire year, but it just, especially like April and May, look real bad for them. Like, they were for quite a while up there, like kind of 5th, 6th place among casinos, and now they're, I don't know, I guess they're technically 6th or 7th, but it's like they're right bunch there with resorts and Bally's and Ocean right now, which is not the place they want to be. Also, Ocean is still doing just awful. So,
yeah, it's interesting how there's that bottom four of Bally's, Resorts, Golden Nugget, and Ocean is really just clustered so tightly together. And, obviously Borgata's way ahead of all of them. And then you've got another group that's like Harrah's, Caesars, Tropicana, and Hard Rock. And they're kind of shifting around a little bit in who's in which place. Hard Rock, though, creeping up on $30 million. I mean, if they don't need much more improvement to be in the 30+ million.
Oh, yeah, they'll be.
Yeah, and I mean, if that's what they're going to do consistently, if they can continue this growth, moving on, not just this summer, but next off season, if they're talking about $30 million in months like this that are sort of fringy, seasonal, peak season, certainly not peak season May. That's really good for them. I think that's a really good sign. So that's a good thing. You're right. Ocean is kind of still hovering around that amount, but this summer is going to be really, like, so many articles are going to be written about the summer revenue and how it's different from last summer's revenue with the 3 new properties and what that all means. And people are going to be certainly talking about, like, either glory or doom based on months' revenues that are potentially affected by luck or weather or whatever. And we'll probably be right there among those people talking about either glory or doom. So,
yeah, that's what we do.
Look forward to the next few episodes.
Enjoy. Yeah, I don't think we have too much else to talk about. We've got most of the big news out of the way.
We can quickly
mention about Miss America.
Yeah, seemed doomed to be leaving Atlantic City. Now it's probably going to stay, although it might be in like January, held at a casino somewhere. So that's the news.
You're the Miss America expert on the podcast, certainly, in that you watch it sometimes, which is unimaginable to me. So I don't know if you have any takes on it, but I have nothing.
I mean, my take is that it's interesting that when CRDA pulled the plug on funding, it suddenly seems like it's in total disarray and is sort of in a place where it's not going to have any sort of prime placement either on the boardwalk or on television or anything. So I think that's kind of telling about where people view it in society. So, it'll stay in Atlantic City seemingly, but that's pretty much all there is to say. It's probably a long time coming.
All right. So I think that's it. We can close it up. So if you have any comments for us or for any of our other listeners, you can reach out to us at facebook.com/group/doforawin. Find all of our amazing content at doforawin.com. Find our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, and just recently added Spotify, and removed for a long time YouTube, so don't look there. Reach out to Craig on Twitter at doforawin or me at Kyle Askin, and send Craig some questions at doforawin@gmail.com. Any last words, man?
Something that I should have brought up very early in the episode is to be on the lookout, probably in the next week or so, for...
YouTube uploads?
No. T-shirt pre-orders. If you would like a Do For a Win t-shirt, we're going to need to know sizes so that we know what to order. But something that we've talked about for 50 episodes and are finally getting our act together on it.
Yeah, so just so the people know, the most important detail is these are going to be sold at cost, so I'm thinking there would be $11-12 each, probably.
Yeah, so the base price is going to be $11.50 for either men's or women's cuts, and then if it's 2XL or above, it adds $2 to that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there will be shipping costs incurred that we'll have to calculate. I expect that'll be in the range of $3.50, so probably for $15, right around that range, you can get a shirt. We won't actually know the final cost until we get the order placed and pay and figure out the shipping, but it should be right in that $15 range. So, like you said, we will not be taking even a penny of profit. Maybe a penny. Maybe there'll be some rounding where we have to take a nickel of profit.
Sweet, sweet profit.
Yeah.
All of my dreams are coming true.
I know. We're going to sell 30 shirts, 5 cents per shirt at profit. I'm going to take that $1.50 and I'm going to play one hand of Jacks or Better, and then I'm going to have a quarter left over.
And you can go to just a 3-reel slot and see what happens.
Yeah. It's perfect. One line. One line.
Well, real 3-reel slots only have one line. It's the way God intended.
God definitely intended us to be at the one-armed bandits.
Yes.
Oh boy, we're gonna get a letter.
All right, we'll talk to you guys in a couple weeks. Thank you very much for listening.
I'll spare everyone the deep dive on all of this, other than to say that Caesars, what the fuck? Well, Caesar, I mean, there are multiple minus 20-something% ones, but Caesars, Golden Nugget, and Resorts are all in that boat.
I have bad news for you.
What?
You're going to have to get out the editing because you're looking at April.
Oh, no!
You don't know how to use this.
I'm one screen over. All right.